Will hope to book their place in the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the fourth time in 5 seasons when they take on Inter Milan, defending a 2-0 lead from the first leg. Second half goals from Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah made the difference in the San Siro, and the Reds were looking to continue a run that has seen them win their last 12 games in all competitions. The most recent of those was, of course, Saturday tea time's 1-0 win over West Ham. Well, it was also a win over the weekend for Inter as they beat bottom of the table Salernitana 5-0 on Friday evening. The team news then, and Liverpool have made 4 changes with Joel Matip, Thiago Alcantara, Curtis Jones and Diogo Jota coming into the side, replacing Ibrahima Konate, Naby Keita, Jordan Henderson and Luis Diaz. We'll leave that just about there. Then a very warm welcome on to Independent Off-Tube studio commentary of the Champions League last 16 second leg between Liverpool and Inter Milan. Liverpool, of course, leading 2-0 on the first game at the Giuseppe Meazza or the San Siro. Roberto Firmino and Mohamed Salah, the goal scorers. Firmino is not available this evening. Mohamed Salah is, though. He's, of course, in the starting lineup. Liverpool in their all-red kit, chain strip for Inter, predominantly black with a bit of blue and a multicoloured trim, I would suppose you'd say. It looks a chilly evening, I have to say, on Merseyside. It is unofficial Off-Tube studio commentary, a number of players wearing gloves and going left to right as we look at it on our TV pictures during the first half. I'm Jack Obi, joined by Max Hunter for, I think, a game that needs an early Inter goal.
Yeah, good evening everybody. Yeah, it does need a bit of it just needs something to get it going, because so often than not, and like you think of Anfield and a big European night, Liverpool have got a job to do. Prime example of that Barcelona match a few years ago. This one, they can sit back and just watch Inter do what, go sideways, go backwards. They can hold their shape, be disciplined, and have a ball draw 0-0 will suit Jurgen Klopp fine. Not much running around, save the players' legs. And bish bosh bosh, they're through into the next round of the competition. So Inter need to do something special, extraordinary, hopefully within the first 15 minutes.
Yes, Liverpool have been sensational, haven't they, recently, winning the last 12 games in all competitions, getting themselves back into the Premier League title race, winning the EFL Cup, making the quarter-finals of the FA Cup as well. Nottingham Forest in the next round on Sunday. Also due to play Arsenal in midweek next and Brighton away on Saturday. Inter Milan's form hasn't been great really, but they did beat Salernitana 5-0 on Friday evening. The team needs 4 changes for Liverpool. Thiago, Curtis Jones, Jota and Matip coming into the side. They're 4-3-3. Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson across the back 4. Van Dijk is the captain because Jordan Henderson is one of those who's slipped out of the side. Thiago, Fabinho and Jones in midfield with Mane, Jota and Mohamed Salah in attack. 1 change for Inter from that 5-0 victory. Alexis Sanchez has come into their side. Edin Dzeko, another former Premier League star, he's on the bench. They always line up 3-5-2 under Simone Inzaghi, similar to how they did when they won the Serie A last season under Antonio Conte. Handanovic is the goalkeeper. Skriniar, De Vrij and Bastoni across the back. Midfield of Dumfries, Vidal, Brozovic, Kalinoglu and Perisic with Martinez and Sanchez up front. Salah goes down the right hand side, around the outside of Bastoni. Vidal plays it against his leg and Brozovic a lovely back heel pass to the Chilean. Sanchez goes forward to Martinez and Perisic can break forward down the left hand side. A different Perisic to which we've seen over the years, plays as a left wing back these days rather than the flying winger of yesteryear. Sanchez will switch to play, looking for Dumfries, Dutch international, some arrival from PSV, rolls it back to Skriniar. Deep cross by him. Matip's just about underneath it. Martinez was in half a yard of space there just momentarily, and it just looked like he was going to drop on his head.
Yeah, Martinez sort of let him go. He obviously didn't get the shout from Trent Alexander-Arnold that Martinez was available there, as Vidal makes a ambitious late run into the box, and Alisson comes out and collects it. Just wanted it, indicating he wanted a bit of curl on that to help him out. But yeah, Martinez free in the box just outside the 6-yard line, so that would have been that spark, that opportunity that we were talking about. And 5 minutes in from Liverpool, that's the first defensive mishap we've seen from them in such a long time, especially at Anfield.
Yeah, certainly is. Matip, I suppose what you say is the first choice partner for Van Dijk these days.
They'll say it's not a massive mistake, but for Liverpool it is, because they're so defensively sound. One of the all-round top football clubs, top football 11s, you'd say, along with City in Europe, therefore the world at the moment.
Konate played at the weekend, but Matip seems to get the nod for the big games. Of course, Joe Gomez also in and around that conversation. Alexander Arnold lets the ball roll to Jones, who plays it inside to Fabinho. Then Alexander Arnold nicely into Jones, who turns really well and is body checked unceremoniously by Bastoni. And when I say that, the free kick's gone the other way.
Bastoni's done well there. He's the young lad. He's got a lot of work to do tonight. He's got Salah on that side of him, and I think the referee's thinking. So Bastoni's body checked him, and as Curtis Jones he's got nowhere to fall apart from on the back of Bastoni. So it kind of, in slow-mo, it looks like he's giving him a piggyback. So maybe that's what the referee's thought, is Jones is pulling Bastoni back, but Jones has got fallen to the floor with nowhere to go. But the Inter don't get out with that free kick, and Liverpool win the ball back.
Ooh, and Van Dijk just had half a second of hesitation. Sanchez thought he was in there. Looks like Van Dijk's going to be okay. He was caught by the Chilean in the tackle, nothing more malicious. The referee, Antonio Matuelahoz, is the man in the middle this evening, as Perisic goes down the left-hand side, searching ball again. Martinez was in a half a yard of space. He comes back to Dumfries, who goes for goal. Comfortable for Alisson. I'm sure there's probably tactical and fitness decisions are behind the decision not to have Edin Dzeko playing for Inter tonight, but the way they're playing, you'd think he'd be the perfect fit.
Yeah, Sanchez got the nod ahead of Dzeko. Sanchez has started quite brightly in the first 6.5 minutes, looking well. Started that move quickly, but you would say, yeah, needing goals, you go for Edin Dzeko, who's proven in any league that he's played in, and you think he'd suit a big occasion like tonight, but Inzaghi saying no, I'm doing it a different way.
Yeah, they seem to be playing real width. Both Perisic and Dumfries had pretty much stood on the touchline when the ball's on their side. Sanchez gives it away. Jota comes inside, then outside to Mane. He's tackled, play on according to the Spanish official, and Calhanoglu can break. It's 3 up for Inter. It's not a great ball by the Turkey international, and it rolls through to Alisson, all in green this evening. Still goalless on the night, of course. Liverpool 2-0 up after the first leg. Also goalless in Bavaria between Bayern Munich and Salzburg. You can catch that game elsewhere on this service. More action tomorrow evening too. Manchester City against Sporting Lisbon. Of course, Citizens 5-0 up from the first leg. And Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, more evenly balanced that tie. PSG 1-0 up thanks to Mbappe's strike late on. Also Real Betis against Frankfurt, and FC Porto against Lyon. Those two are 5:45. The two Champions League games are 8 o'clock. So a busy midweek, as it often is, as Matip will go back to Alisson, who seems to be adopting the tights again. I
don't think I've ever seen him playing not in tights.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen anyone wear he's got the lime green tights on. I'm used to the black ones, but the lime green ones are...
The kit man does really well at Liverpool for those tights. He earns his wage and his Christmas tip as well, I'm assuming.
As Robertson goes down the line to Mane, he turns Dumfries, and I think probably had a bit more space than he thought in front of him. Down the line to Robertson, he just tries to play it in behind De Vrij, who had his hands behind his back. The Dutchman ensuring he wasn't going to give away any sort of handball. He goes off his heels, out for the first corner kick of the game.
Yeah, this is the first time really Liverpool have got a good basis to form an attack from. You're thinking Liverpool are so free-flowing, but Inter have remained strong. As you say, you think of an Italian side, the top Italian side, they know how to defend. That's how it works in Serie A, so interesting to see what Liverpool can create.
Yeah, ball into the box, away bravely by Vidal, under a bit of pressure from a Liverpool man coming in behind him. Rescued by Salah. Back to Alexander-Arnold, who with that lovely style he has, whips the ball in. Away by Inter, but not conclusively. Thiago, then Fabinho over his left shoulder into the box, but it just bounces into the hands of Samir Handanovic, the goalkeeper and captain for Inter. All in yellow this evening, bowls it out to Perisic. Good feel and pace to this game as Sanchez takes over, but Fabinho's there. Thiago has his pocket picked by Sanchez, and then Vidal goes down. Thiago's not impressed. It's really nice pace and nice feel to this game. 2-0 of course to Liverpool coming into this, and there might be a few who have thought not tied done as such, but a tough one with big games coming up for both sides, and may have been a bit of a sedate pace to it, but it's been anything but so far. Perisic down the left hand side, gets on the outside of Alexander-Arnold, gets the cross in, perhaps too easily from a Liverpool point of view, but it's a comfortable catch on his 6-yard line for Alisson.
Yeah, it's been an frantic opening 10 minutes, a lot of serve. As the ball's bouncing, both teams struggle to keep hold of it, and when they do, they're moving it quickly, they're not dilly-dallying on the ball. Obviously Inter chasing the game, and Liverpool trying to pick them off when they can get forward. That'll be what Jurgen Klopp's saying to this side, saying, look, be patient, Inter have got to come and play. They might make mistakes in how quickly they want to play or how frantic it is, and then we just use our pace on the counter and pick them off. So still plenty of time for both teams to get a goal in this one, but it is looking good.
Yeah, looking good this game. Robertson just fouls Dumfries, and referee Lahoz knows the whistle. Just got his body well, good body position really by the Dutchman. He wasn't really going anywhere, and attracted the foul. As mentioned, Brighton next up for Liverpool on Saturday, the lunchtime game. You can catch that on this service. Inter away at Torino, and Fiorentina. Of course, it's the international break, isn't it? The other side of next weekend. Mane down the left-hand side, inside ball to Jota. He's got a big evening this evening. Of course, Luis Diaz has done so well since coming in. Started against West Ham at the weekend. It seems to be those two rotating rather than, I suppose you'd say, the big two, Mane and Salah.
Yeah, I think Klopp's got to keep with them too, especially in the league. They are dominating teams when they come across them. Maybe that Liverpool one, not so. The West Ham game, not so much. But you've got to go with when Salah and Mane are fit. You go with that, and then you work around that. Obviously, Firmino's had his injury problems recently, so I think he would have started more games if he was obviously available. But yeah, you pick your strongest three, especially. Well, you're chasing Man City, so they've got to go all out for the wins every game.
Absolutely. Robert Lewandowski has put Bayern Munich ahead against Salzburg from the penalty spot. The Poles' scoring run in the Champions League continues. He really is flying, isn't he? Lewandowski, that of course his 10th goal in the competition so far. Still trailing though Ajax's Sebastian Haller. They play Benfica next week. 2-2 that tie after the first leg as Perisic gets in behind. Alexander-Arnold again tries to take it on the run, nods it down and off balance, tries to keep it in. Left-footed ball out for a goal kick. It's an interesting do you stay or do you go as far as Alexander-Arnold is tonight. I'm sure he's done it before, but you're playing against the wing-back who is naturally going to be more withdrawn than you would be if you were marking a winger. So I think it's a strange thing, I think, when you play against teams with wing-backs, because the space is always in behind those wing-backs. It just depends where that wing-back's playing at the time. Yeah,
it depends on the wing-back. Is it a genuine defensive wing-back as Vidal's played through, but there's obviously a foul or something in the build-up, and he smacks it into an empty net? I guess it depends on the wing-back, because Perisic, he's not a defender. He's just, as age has caught up with him, his legs aren't as quick, so I think the manager's told him, you just drop back a bit, but like I say, they're chasing the game, so he might revert to his youth and just throw that defensive license away and go, I'm gonna see if I can get myself a goal or an assist here. And most of Inter's play has come down that left-hand side where Perisic is. So Alexander-Arnold's got to probably stay back more than often and going forward tonight, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a ploy for Inter to keep the excellent Liverpool defender, 23 years old, of course. Alexander-Arnold was one of those players that I think, because everyone had heard the name Trent Alexander-Arnold before he broke through into the side, he seems to have been around longer than he has been. But a Champions League and Premier League winners' medal, and of course now an EFL Cup winners' medal to his haul, as Sanchez, unorthodox, I would say.
It's a great tackle.
Takes out. He made. It's almost like one of those kids' jokes where you kneel down behind someone and someone else pushes Van Dijk over, and he just happy. I think he just fell over, and Van Dijk tripped. They have a bit of a laugh about
just
it.
Turned into him, didn't he, on the floor?
Yeah, Liverpool have the ball back as Jones receives it off Trent Alexander-Arnold. Jones has played on the left of the three, but more on the right-hand side this evening, with Thiago filling that pocket. Fabinho, of course, the deepest of the three midfielders. Matip will work it back to Alisson. He powers it out to Alexander-Arnold, who looks up and straight away goes down the line, looking for the run of Jota. He's got Stefan de Vrij as his opposition. De Vrij, who's been linked with Tottenham in recent weeks, can't quite keep it in. His header away from Jota, and it's going to be a corner kick again, the second one of the game to Liverpool.
Yeah, this time on the right. So Trent Alexander-Arnold will be taking this one. The first one didn't really come to much on the left-hand side. So see if the angles work favourable this time for the men in red.
Yeah, Jota is on the 6-yard line, but most of his teammates are lining up on the edge of the area. Denzel Dumfries got the unenviable task of marking Virgil van Dijk to international teammates, of course, pardon me. As Alexander-Arnold deep cross in onto Van Dijk's head, he gets the header. Maybe a hint of a bit of wind at Anfield tonight, kind of whipped out. Maybe just the action of Alexander-Arnold's technique, but he was going away from goal, wasn't he, there, the Dutchman, and always tough.
Yeah, he had to run back out the box really to get his head on that. He had to stall his run. Admittedly, stalling his run and coming back, Luke got away from his man, obviously, but he was, well, nearly 17 yards away from goal, and Handanovic just watched that cruise into his arms. So a bit of a threat there. Obviously, Van Dijk is the main target. It's interesting that your main centre-back isn't going match for match on that one, because he's obviously the main threat.
Yeah, you think Milan Skriniar would be the more obvious.
But the little wing, well, not little, Dumfries, they're all, the modern football athlete, they're all quite tall and they're quite physical, aren't they? But it seems just odd that Dumfries, unless he knows something Dutch about something that he knows of some secret set play.
Yes, he's probably 6'2", isn't he? Dumfries, Simone Inzaghi, the Inter Milan boss, moved from Lazio over the summer, replacing Antonio Conte, who left the club. Down the line by Perisic, round the corner looking for Martinez. Van Dijk can't make a mistake, rarely does, and doesn't on this occasion either. Plays it away, and a bit of head tennis, a bit of keep ball now, as Liverpool just about to, as I say that, of course, to give it away. Sanchez, he's been bright so far. Lovely slide ball in towards Perisic. Alexander-Arnold did well just to cut it out, and Liverpool will come away, but Jota is himself body checked by Brozovic. No, it's play on, and into have it. Calhanoglu into Brozovic now. His ball's not a great one to Dumfries, who will turn and just reassess and work it into Skriniar. I suppose with Bastoni, he's a left-footed centre-half who likes to get forward, so they can go to a flat four if they need to at the back, allowing Perisic to push on, but they're going backwards at the moment. Skriniar has to find Calhanoglu, who go back to Handanovic, who very cool, he just rolls it past Curtis Jones and into the feet of Calhanoglu, who joined from AC Milan in the summer, of course, on a free transfer. A few have made that switch in years gone by. As Brozovic finds Bastoni, here he comes, carries the ball well, the centre half, but gives it away. And Van Dijk just had a moment of hesitation, because Brozovic Bastoni rather has continued his run. And there have been a few moments so far, especially at the back for Liverpool, where they have been just a touch casual.
Yeah, I guess it's because not many teams come to Anfield and apply a press or chase the game or want to be assertive. They'll hang back and try keep themselves in the game for as long as possible, and Liverpool have it 90% of the game their own way. Tonight, Inter aren't going to do that. They need the chase in the game, obviously. 2-0 down. They won an early goal before, well, what did we say, about 20 minutes in, and we're just getting out of that. So I won't imagine they'll be panicking, but Liverpool have weathered the first part of the storm. That will be Inter coming forward and chasing the game.
Yeah, 19 minutes on the clock as Alisson finds Robertson, still goalless. Mentioned 1-0 to Bayern against Salzburg, 1-1 in that tie from the first leg, so 2-1 to the Bavarians. Now 6-time winners, of course. Liverpool also 6 times winners. Inter Milan 3 times winners, 64, 65 and 2010. The latter in Jose Mourinho's final season in charge of the Nerazzurri, but not much Champions League glory. They made the Europa League final a couple of seasons ago, didn't they, as Fabinho is adjudged to have fouled Vidal. Arturo Martinez is having his say. He clutches his knee, which I'm not quite sure. It was more of an ankle, and if so, very minimal.
It's gamesmanship, and he's trying to get that 1%ers. As they all say in sport, it's all about them 1%ers. Klopp's chuckling away at it. He's obviously seen it on the iPad on the bench and thinks nothing of it, and just letting the fourth official know that. Say, tell the referee that that's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, it wasn't a marginal gain as the ball was switched wide towards Bastoni. He certainly plays playing a bit more advanced than I've seen him in the past.
He's sort of when Inter get into possession, he sort of sprints out of that defensive position and gets himself into midfield and gets himself involved, and alongside Brozovic in midfield. I'll get my words out, but obviously just get bodies forward ASAP from Inzaghi.
Yes, as De Rij now has it, he goes forward, and Dumfries, it's his turn to push forward. He's got in behind Robertson here, who's trying to play the offside trap, whips across in, it's blocked off the Scot, who will do really well in fact, to win it on the ground and find Mane. He can open his legs and work it to Jota. The pass wasn't the best by the Senegalese. Jota couldn't gather it. And that's a lovely step over by Sanchez. Martinez into the box. And well played by Alexander-Arnold, just using his body nicely to shield it back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a sloppy giving away there from Jota. He didn't look before he passed it in Sanchez. That's what the Sanchez we kind of saw at Arsenal, didn't we? Sort of inventing this, creating this, bit of originality, letting the ball go, good communication with his strike partner, because it looked like Martinez wasn't interested in it or couldn't get near it, but he did in the end, and just, Trent Alexander-Arnold showing his wise old head on that young shoulders now, isn't it? Plenty of games seen there, done it all domestically and almost internationally, but he's a great defender, is Trent, and it's going to take much to beat him.
Yeah, second goal for Lewandowski. He's now level with Sebastian Haller. Second penalty for the Polish striker, so 2-0 to the good now. Bayern's Jota turns and goes and finds Salah right on the touchline, cuts inside on his left foot. He's into the box before passing it, gives it away though. Brozovic, excellent shielding job, but then he gives it away. Alexander-Arnold has got Curtis Jones on the right hand side. Thought he may have used his fellow academy graduate there as Brozovic comes forward, and then he just wanted too long, the Croatian. I think he was trying to invite a foul as well, because he wasn't really going anywhere. Liverpool come up with it, but it's an interesting broken field game, but with no real pace to it. You thought they were going to spring out the trap there, but couldn't quite do so. Bayern are 3-0 up now. Quick fire goals. Matip looks for a searching ball, then beats Salah, and then he and Vidal get in each other's way, and I think it's going to be play on, according to referee Lahoz. Jota, only Salah in the box, back to Robertson. Thought he was going to play it first time. It went to the edge of the box. Thiago outside of the right boot. I'll pass over to Max in a second, just after this attack has broken down, as Alexander-Arnold into Fabinho, who's tackled by Sanchez. You mentioned him, Max. He's been excellent so far. Arguably Inter's best player. Perisic will drift it forward, but Martinez isn't going to win that one in the air. The ball drops to Thiago, back to Matip, and Curtis Jones controls and adds a bit of composure to the game. Back to his skipper on the night, Van Dijk. Nope, back to the goalkeeper. Safely anyway. That'll be Max to take us through until half-time.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Still goalless hit over there in Anfield. And, Liverpool just not... they're almost like the Liverpool we know. They just can't find a few passes are going astray at this point, and Inter are making it extremely difficult for them. And Inter are pulling punches. They're having a go themselves. They're looking to get into the game as soon as possible. They're not sitting back and keeping it 0-0 and then having a go in the last 20 minutes. They're looking to get on the score sheet ASAP. As mentioned, Alexis Sanchez is he's been the bright spark of the game so far in the opening quarter. He's obviously feels like he's got something to prove after that horrid spell at Manchester United, where nothing springs to mind about it other than just him playing the piano in his introductory video, and that was the last we saw of him from what I remember. So just game's pausing for a moment as Jurgen Klopp speaks to the fourth officials. Nothing was going on. It looks like we've got another medical emergency as Klopp is ushering his physios and medical staff down to his right on the touchline on the near side. So the medical professionals have made their way over that way now, and Klopp seems happy with that as he nods in agreement with the fourth official. And the ball it will be an Inter throw-in once the game gets restarted again, but it looks like we're pausing for a second as all the players come over to their dugout and receive fluids and some sort of energy gels, and get some instructions from the coaches. Simone Inzaghi is the coach of Inter Milan now, after you mentioned Conte leaving. Simone Inzaghi's got plenty of experience, over 10 years at Lazio. A couple of caps for Italy, but I think if he didn't have a brother called Filippo, his caps would have got a lot more, and he would have got a lot more time in the Azzurri blue.
It's his turn now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his turn now.
His brother was a World Cup winner as a player. Will Simone Inzaghi be a World Cup winner as a manager in the future? I'm not quite sure. But
Brescia now, however you pronounce that, is Filippo. Yeah, so I was thinking to myself that the other day, as a player, once a player retires from management, will he be thought of more of a player or a manager? Because obviously you're a manager for a lot more. But I guess that depends on how good you are.
It's amazing. Well, a lot of the time, managers will get jobs on the back of having great playing careers, won't they? But it's not unrealistic to think that you'll be a manager for 3 times as long as you're a player. Sometimes maybe double the time. You think of Carlo Ancelotti; he was a great player. I'd be outshone that as a manager. I'm trying to think. Well, we inevitably go to the blue side of Merseyside after last night's real tough night for Everton. Of course, Frank Lampard, they're really struggling away from home. They seem pretty good at home. They gave Manchester City a game the other week, but away from home they're not quite the same outfit as they are. And I'm just trying to think of
Paul Ince played for these two clubs. Good player in the 90s, and then management never seemed to. He was at Blackburn for it. He was part of that Blackburn setup that from the Venkies, which eventually got themselves relegated from the Premier League. Was he at Notts County as well?
Notts County. He started at, was it Macclesfield? He did really well at.
So that never seemed to generate as well. But looks like we're about to get ourselves back underway at Anfield as the players are back out over onto the far side of the pitch. Perisic looks like he's ready to receive the ball as the Anfield crowd applaud the medical team who are dealing with that emergency. As it's mentioned in the other game, it is Bayern 3, Salzburg 0, so that's 4-1 on aggregate over in Munich. And I think what will be really annoying for Salzburg is that 2 of those goals were penalties, so obviously without seeing them they could have been avoided and stayed in the game for a little bit longer in the German language derby. We're back underway now. Perisic throws the ball down the line, looking to find Sanchez, but he's not going to win the ball next to Virgil van Dijk, and he's repeated that ball down there as I've spilt water on my notes, which is great. But we're still there, still bobbling around on the far side of the pitch as Trent Alexander-Arnold looks to get the game in base. Curtis Jones makes a short run as an option, but Liverpool, nobody's looking interested in wanting this ball. Mane comes over now. Trent's just thrown in there as an ambitious ball for Curtis Jones, who ran down the line, but the second ball's fallen to Liverpool as Thiago brings it over to Robertson, and you want Robertson a little bit closer to the touchline to whip the ball in there, so it wasn't a great passing position, so they've gone back inside. Thiago spreads it over to Curtis Jones. As mentioned, he's playing on the right of the three today, and the ball inside to Fabinho is picked up well by the Brazilian after initially slipping. Liverpool coming forward again via Jota. Robertson, now Mane goes against Dumfries. Dumfries does bring him down, and it just decides if the referee calls for a foul now, because Mane did knock it far away from him, but you kind of say he knocked it so far out of his feet that he wasn't in control of the ball anymore, but the referee's given a foul.
Yeah, well, he's one of those, he's not in control of the ball, but Dumfries isn't in control of himself.
Yeah.
He's gone straight into him. I think Mane knows what's coming, and as you say, plays it down the line. Yeah,
just gets the ball out of the way, so there's no way of the Dutch star of Euro 2020, who's the real standout in that one of the finds of the tournament, got his big move to Inter from PSV. So we've got Alexander-Arnold and Robertson standing over this. Robertson is holding his right hand up, but Alexander-Arnold takes it, and it's come to Matip, and Matip's hit the bar. So first chance on goal for Liverpool, and it's fallen to Joel Matip, and it was rather quick as Matip didn't jump for it. He's able to stay on his feet and just direct that ball onto the bar.
Yeah, good header, wasn't it, from a standing start, and he had to adjust his feet really well. Cannons off the crossbar. I think there may have been a foul in amongst all of that. I mean, you can see the anguish and frustration on his face, and no, it's going to be a corner kick. Not quite sure how the ref arrived at that decision, but it will be a set piece again to the Reds.
Yes, if Liverpool can take advantage of this, Alexander-Arnold whips the ball in now. There it is, Virgil van Dijk running on it, and it looked like it was Skriniar who beat him to it. And Van Dijk, he pulls that nod of approval. He liked that a lot.
Must have been pretty good defending.
Yeah,
it's Skriniar putting everything on the line there. He's actually behind Van Dijk, and he throws himself at the ball. The glancing header from the Dutchman cannons off the Slovakians, heading out for another corner kick.
Yeah, Skriniar, the Slovakian, really bailed out Dumfries there, who lost his man. Skriniar was originally marking Matip, but got his body in the way of it. So in comes the next corner, and then it doesn't get past the first man. So that'll be disappointing for Liverpool, but comes back to Alexander-Arnold, puts a great ball in this time, in Skriniar again has to head it away, and it does. He rather helps it on its way to the far side by the corner flag, and Alexander-Arnold just chuckles with Van Dijk. I guess that's about of having to run to the other side of the pitch to take this throw in now.
Yes, yeah, the second ball was certainly the better of the two. It wasn't the greatest corner kick, but Skriniar underneath it, and as you say, Alexander-Arnold has to go and take the throw on the opposite side now.
So it looks like this game is sparking into life yet again. We had a bit of a lull for a couple of minutes, and then obviously the medical emergency happened, so the game's got its tempo back immediately, and there is now a fourth goal in Munich. It's now a hat-trick for Robert Lewandowski. It's Serge Gnabry who's got the fourth, a hat-trick for Lewandowski before that, so that game is very much done and dusted over there, as Liverpool just knocking it around the defence, and they've got more of the possession now. Inter had the better of the first 20 minutes, not really threatening the goal. Vidal had a tame shot from distance, but more possession in territory was for the men in black tonight.
Yeah, there's a bit more zip about Liverpool now, isn't there? Moving the ball one touch less and getting out of the feet and going forward as Robertson breaks here. Jota, they seem to have had a bit of a switch around. Sadio Mane rather has been playing a lot through the middle, hasn't he, since Diaz's arrival, and it seems like Jota's now playing from the left, and it is Mane's the main man, I suppose.
Indeed, as Liverpool again just go backwards. Italian sides are very good and disciplined and structured in their defence as they came down the left, and that door was shut, so they've come back to Alisson now to find the way, and they're reorganised and move it over to the right-hand side with Joel Matip running forward. It reminds of the goal he scored against Leeds, where he just glided through the Leeds 11 to get one of a rare goal as the ball comes forward and into the box from the right, and into head it clear, but Liverpool regather the ball now with Fabinho. Mane just dragged to the right of the penalty area, looks to find a way through to get it to Salah, but he's blocked by Bastoni, and now they come forward again to Inter, and this could be exciting. It's just a bit ahead of Martinez, that ball, but they are there. Inter, they do pose a threat going forward. They scored last season when they won the league. They scored over 100 goals, 104 goals in 38 games. It's the first time the club in all its history got a century of goals in the league, and they've carried that forward again as they are the league's top scorers. So they've got goals in them, do Inter, and they need 2 goals tonight just to get back on level terms in this round of 16 tie against Liverpool, as Liverpool lead the tie 2-0 as Salah is being given a ball over the top to chase, and Handanovic is out quickly to claim that.
Quiet so far, Salah, isn't he? He's not had too much service, I think it's fair to say, and Bastoni's, with a bit of help from Perisic, has kept him quiet, but he's got 8 goals so far in this season's Champions League. I'm still, probably because I'm a bit of a tactical geek, I'm quite intrigued by the way Inter Milan are setting up, because when they have the ball, it's definitely a flat back 4, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They are getting back, and Sanchez is dropping deep into sort of a central midfield. He's playing number 10 when they've got the ball, but looks like he's getting back to get into midfield as well to help out as Brazanovic fires it into Sanchez. Great control from the Chilean to bring it down on the chest, and then he's been tackled well by Thiago, and it gives a shoulder as the Brazilian runs past him with the ball, and Jota again, he looking to play it into Mane, but he's overlapping wing back got in the way of him there, and that's put an end to that move.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? Robertson just on the inside on that occasion. And Liverpool getting themselves in a bit of a pickle, getting in each other's way. And Inter just moving the ball quite nicely here. But the problem, I suppose, is the problem pretty much for any team who's playing against Virgil van Dijk at the moment. He's in really good form, isn't he? And he's excellent as it is, but the ball just doesn't stick when it goes forward, and because Van Dijk's just so good at getting it back.
He is, and they come forward now on the left-hand side, try to stay away from Van Dijk, who's playing on the left side of centre-back for Liverpool, but going down the left wing, that door was shut by Liverpool. So now they come to the right-hand side with Dumfries. Vidal makes a run up the inside, and Dumfries has had to go back after good defending from Robertson, but that's left a gap for Vidal to run into, and here he is, and the Scot gets back and makes a good challenge, and it should be a corner for the Italians. And it is, so this is a good place for Inter to see if they can get their first goal of the night, and it's from their first corner, I believe. Yeah,
first corner kick. Calhanoglu will be the man who takes it from the near side as we look at it in the Penalty Tube studio commentary. So being outswinger with that fabled right foot. I thought Vidal just took too much time on that occasion, but I actually think his reaction suggests that he was waiting, hoping for the corner, so they got an opportunity for a set piece.
Yeah, it's also a bouncing ball, so I don't know if it settled for him quite right. So here we go, the corner comes in, and it doesn't get past the first man, Thiago, but it does. Thiago sort of helped it onto the back post where Skriniar almost turned it. He didn't really do well enough to force a header away from goal, but Liverpool clear it, but Martinez picks it up quickly, and Alexander-Arnold gives Martinez a big shove with the right shoulder, fairly in the eyes of the referee, and he's got a big applause from the crowd in that area of the stadium. It's rather, I wouldn't say brutal, but it's modern football brutal.
Well, I thought it was a bit more the back than the shoulder. I think he may have got away with one there, Alexander-Arnold, but he seems to have got to grips with Perisic down the left-hand side. Going back to that corner kick, De Vrij seemed to be on his heels. Skriniar again was throwing himself at the ball and headed it back into a decent area, but all the Inter players, De Vrij, I just saw the number 6 on his back, so that's probably why I'm picking him out, but there didn't seem to be anyone looking for the second ball there.
No, maybe they weren't expecting the ball to be helped on by Thiago when he kind of scuffed his clearance as Inter go all the way back to De Vrij, who's just outside his 6-yard box, and he's invited a lot of pressure from Mane and Jota, and he's just about got out of it, but only to the left back position, and now the boot's gone through the ball, and it's found a good pass to Perisic on the left-hand side. Here come Inter quickly on the left-hand side as Sanchez plays the ball across the line, across the box, but he was offside, and he gives a thumbs up. So we'll just wait for the replay here. So it's Perisic picks up the ball on the halfway line, and Sanchez, yeah, he knew he was offside. He tried to, he started his run a bit too quickly, and then he tried to jolt back on side and bend his run, but the ball came to him, so he had to carry on and hope that he wasn't spotted. But VAR would have undoubtedly got him if the ball went in the net. But assistant referee on this near side spotted him very easily as Liverpool take the free kick short, and they're just knocking it around. Maybe they're just trying to entice Inter out of their defensive shell and catch them on the counter.
Potentially, yeah, that looked like a real training ground move because it was down. It was a bit awkward before they started, but Bastoni had pulled wide, Perisic had pulled wide. They were both hugging the touchline. He kind of played a long ball 1-2 between themselves, looking for Sanchez in the end, who was offside, but he drifted in between Matip and Van Dijk, suggesting that was something they've been working on.
Yeah, it says Inter come again with Kalahoglu to put the ball into the box. A deflection almost made its way to Vidal, and now it's with Brozovic. And De Vrij just outside the Liverpool area, but that's a poor touch from the centre-back. But he's done well to win it back after sloppy play from Jota. Dumfries is now trying to make his way into the penalty area, and he's been brought down. But I think the referee might be bringing it back for an earlier on foul on Diego Jota, who's made himself into the book after he brought down Skriniar, but he's actually so he's both were fouls. So Jota's been booked for the first challenge, and the referee Lahoz is put the ball down where Dumfries was fouled just outside the penalty area. So Liverpool just been a bit desperate there. Robertson, yeah, just body checking Dumfries. He kind of knew what he was doing, but he just turned his head to make it to sort of act like I'm following the ball, ref.
Yeah, saw one, I think, for Skriniar there. It was right on the back of his heels, wasn't it? Jota rightly going into the book. None of the players in danger, unless he gets sent off tonight, instead that is, of missing the first leg of the quarter-final. Nick Cabrella's currently suspended for Inter Milan, but no one on a yellow card coming into this game.
So here we go. So 5 minutes until the break at Anfield. Kalahoglu stands over. It's quite tight. It's close to the line. He goes for a foul, drives it to Alisson's back post, and he makes a good save. Does Alisson, the Brazilian? I mean, Kalahoglu was just hoping for just any touch whatsoever. Put it in that corridor of uncertainty and see what happens, and maybe catch Alisson unawares of. Because you see it often, don't you, where goalkeepers just let it run across the box. They anticipate someone's going to get there, and then it just finds its way in at the back post.
And he maybe a bit fortunate there, Alisson, as well. It ricochets off his right arm onto his left and gets it away. You've got to be there to make the save, I suppose, haven't you? But at the same time, it was a good ball in by Kalahoglu, and Liverpool, I think because it was so close to their own goal, the tight angle, didn't want to touch it, exactly going back towards their own goal. And by the same token, that's why Vidal was so frustrated on the edge of the box, because he knew anything there on target's a goal.
As Liverpool look to break with Jota in the centre circle, brings it left to Robertson, and Inter have just got about into their positions again nice and quickly, and that's just stalled the attack. Robertson, it's been slowed down by Vidal, so much so that he's had to go back to Virgil van Dijk inside the halves. Now Fabinho has it on the centre line, halfway line, and he clips it wide to Alexander-Arnold, and he's got Curtis Jones on option, but that's been cut off. A good ball inside to Thiago, and Sanchez again is hustling and harrying all the men in red, and his good work, his pressure has forced Liverpool to go back all the way to Alisson, and good triangles there from Alisson, Fabinho and Matip to work the way forwards, and now they've decided to go backwards again. As ever, Liverpool can be patient. They're 2-0 up in the tie, so there's no risky forward balls being played as much. So you say if it was a normal 90-minute game, you think by now, especially at home, they'll be a bit more adventurous with their passing. But they know the job's almost done. They just need to keep it as it is, and they'll be going through to the quarter-finals. And I assume the draw is next Friday. Well, next Friday.
I guess so, yeah.
With the next round of fixtures will be next week, as Europa League action again and the Conference League action again will be back-to-back. So next Friday will be the draw for the quarter-finals for the Champions League and whatever round we're on in the Europa and Conference League. As Robertson wins the ball back for Liverpool, and again it's Sol Jones a bit short, but the young lad does well to win it and then tries a give and go with Salah. He's brought down, referee says no, play on. That will infuriate the Anfield crowd, and I think Curtis Jones is still on the floor as Inter just standing with it in there, sort of in the middle of the park, not sure what to do with it. And now Bastoni puts the ball out as we will see a replay surely of what happened to Curtis Jones. He's down holding his right foot, and here we go.
Yeah, he goes forward, nice touch, and he just gets caught, I think, by Calhanoglu, is it, who's retreating? Yeah, he just gets caught on his right foot. It's one of those...
Just stepped on it.
Stepped on it, and obviously modern boots are a lot more lightweight than the good old days. And yeah, it'd just be a sore one. And it's one of those that you just think, that word that we never used to speak about, metatarsal is the word that comes to mind there, isn't it?
Oh yes, metatarsal, we all know what that is.
And you just hope he's going to be all right. I'm sure he will be. He's up on his... sat up and receiving treatment, so I don't think it's anything too serious, but a sore one. Not much Calhanoglu could do really, but
no,
unfortunate.
It's just, it's where feet have got to go to ground at some point, and unfortunately for Curtis Jones, his foot was in the way of Calhanoglu's getting to the ground, as you assume the swap would be for Henderson, who's on the bench tonight, if Curtis Jones doesn't feel like carrying on. But we've had 45 minutes now, so you say just get through to half time and assess it there. We will have 4 minutes of added time. Obviously we've had a medical emergency in the stands at Anfield, and if and when we find information of that, we will pass it on to you, as we just wait for Jones to make his way off the pitch, and Liverpool will give the ball back to Inter, as Bastoni was in possession of the ball when he decided to kick the ball out, as Liverpool now give the ball back to Inter, and we're back underway at Anfield as Liverpool try to keep Inter as pressed in close to their goal as possible, force them into mistake. Curtis Jones making early run, running and applying a high press, so he's more than okay, and I expect him to come out in the second half if Jurgen Klopp decides to keep him on, as Simone Inzaghi barks instructions, tries to G up his team, see if they can nick one just before the break. It's actually been changed to 5 minutes of added time over at Anfield. We've had the first one as Robertson has a throw in, and he goes all the way back to Van Dijk. Liverpool again just need to look after the ball here. They don't need to take any risks, as mentioned. They are 2-0 up in the tie, and Inter, they haven't really threatened Alisson's goal, really. That Alisson hasn't been stretched to make a save. He hasn't been under the cosh. He won't be wiping his brow with sweat from hard work at half-time, will he?
No, it's those tights we mentioned earlier, his new green ones on tonight, they've not got much mud on them, have they? And they're just there for keeping him warm, I think.
Yeah, they've been earning their keep. Is Liverpool given offside just beyond the halfway line, and Inter take it a short one. And it's not for Inter that the lack of trying. They haven't sat back and tried to keep in the game. They've huffed and they've puffed in midfield and going forward, a few offside traps, and a good tackle from Alexander-Arnold has cut into Martinez. A chance with Sanchez linking up well, as Perisic is the latest Inter Milan player to be given offside. A few passes just needed to be a split second sooner from the men from Milan, as Liverpool again get underway again, and they're just cruising from defence as Van Dijk brings it to the halfway line and then just offloads it into midfield, and then he's received it back. Alexis Sanchez, he's made a return from England after spells of Arsenal and Man United, and he has looked good and energetic. He's had some play with good charisma and some originality in the build-up play for Inter Milan, but he's still yet to have a shot on goal, as Curtis Jones wins a foul on the halfway line, as Liverpool have, since the 5 minutes of time, 5 minutes has been signalled by the fourth official, Inter Milan have barely had a kick. Liverpool very much in control of this passage of players. Alexander-Arnold scoops the ball into the box, but it's hit Skriniar in the head and it will be blocked. But it's come back to the Liverpool right back, and he's tried to finesse his way into the penalty area again. Inter Milan putting an end to that attack, but they can't get out of their own defensive third. It's been met by a Liverpool red wall as that defensive phase moves into the middle phase. As I think a foul has been given here. No. We've got Thiago on the ground holding his right calf. I think Alexis Sanchez is the guilty party. He has got very, I don't even know. Oh, it's a high boot from Sanchez.
That could be red, you know, I think, if they look at it.
If they look at it, I was about to say, Thiago, he's wearing tiny shin pads. They've barely gone above halfway up the shin, but even with the full ones, he's going to definitely feel the effects of that one on the side and the back of the calf. Alexis Sanchez is making sure he's all right, but I don't think Thiago's too happy with it.
They played together at Barcelona, those two, didn't they? So
they did.
No issue. But that was full sole of the foot on the leg, that wasn't it? Knee downwards, so very high.
Yes, and we've just no indication that VAR is having a look at it yet. Obviously, referee Lahoz will have to go over to the screen to check it for himself, but no check whatsoever, no booking for Sanchez. It actually wasn't even blown as a foul from the referee. He has let a few things go, has the referee from Spain in this opening 45 as Liverpool build quickly again on the right hand side. Alexander-Arnold looking to play it into Mane. Mane gives a little bit of a punch in the back for a Skriniar, and Handanovic comes out and claims that. Mane, I think he knew he wasn't going to win that aerial battle, so tries to win it via the dark arts of a little shove in the air as Liverpool come forward again. Vidal, heavy challenge on Curtis Jones, and now he's in the book of the referee. And Martinez comes over to plead his case, but I think it's too late. The card's up in the air. A tackle from behind, doesn't win the ball. Simple yellow card. A
simple yellow card, yeah. He flies into him and he fouls him with both legs, doesn't he? The right and the left there. One comes across the front, the other one sweeps down the back. We have played over the 5 minutes, but they're going to have a go at goal here, Liverpool, and a chance to break the deadlock before half-time.
Yeah, this surely will be the last passage of play. Maybe the referee says, look, go for goal here, lads. If you float it in the box and it's cleared, I'm blowing for half-time, so might as well test Handanovic. And him himself, he hasn't had to make a tremendous amount of saves. Matip's hit the crossbar. That's the closest Liverpool have come to breaking a deadlock. So neither goalkeeper has been a busy bee. And it's Robertson and Alexander-Arnold stand of it. Alexander-Arnold with the ball in hand, and you think from this position it would suit the right footer, but the only problem is he's pushing 30 yards distance, so Handanovic has got plenty of time to see it.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. It does suit the right footer, left of centre, doesn't it? And, they've got an interesting formation with Matip and Fabinho stood about 5 yards to the right of the wall, or just in front of the wall, maybe.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Here it comes. He's looking for that top corner, and it's close. It's the closest Alexander-Arnold's been this evening. Right, that was the last patch of play. Just watch a replay as he whips it over in between Dumfries and Skriniar, and it's always curling away from that top left corner. I say it's about a yard wide. It does hit the net support post, so that's how close it was, and that was the last patch of play at Anfield. It's 0-0 at the break.
Half-time in the game at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal. Cannoned off the woodwork for Inter. They've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal. Cannoned off the woodwork for Inter. They've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence, but it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half-time in the game at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal, cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. Half time in the game at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Inter Milan 0. Of course, the Reds 2-0 up from the first leg. It's been a decent affair so far. The moment of the match, Joel Matip heading against the crossbar from a standing start. He was leaning back, did really well to guide it towards goal. Cannoned off the woodwork. For Inter, they've been bright. Alexis Sanchez and Lautaro Martinez have made life difficult for the Liverpool defence. But it's even Stevens at the break, goalless. We'll leave that just about there then. A very warm welcome back to unofficial off-tube studio commentary of the Champions League last 16, second leg tie between Liverpool and Inter Milan. Goalless on the night as they just kick off for the second half. 2-0 to Liverpool on aggregate thanks to those Firmino and Salah goals in Milan last month. News of a change, an interchange. Danilo D'Ambrosio has come on for Stefan de Vrij. We're not sure if that's injury or tactical. I would suggest it's injury to the Dutchman, as he's such a key part of their plans. So a bit of a reshuffle at the back as well. Milan Skriniar has gone in to be that middle man, the spare man often in the back three. D'Ambrosio will go to the right-hand side of it. Of course, 5 changes in European competitions. That's where our substitutions go. So plenty more for both teams. The Liverpool bench, Adrian and Kelleher are the goalkeepers. I was break off as Vidal turns on the edge of the box, doesn't find a teammate. Milner, we saw warming up. Keita, Gomez, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Minamino, Tsimikas, Diaz, Origi and Elliott. For Inter, 2 goalkeepers, Cordas and Radu, Gagliardini, Vecino, Zecco, Ranocchia, Gosens, Correa, Di Marco, Damian and Felipe Caicedo. It was a game that seemed to warm up. I'm Jack Obi, joined by Max Hunt. It was a game that seemed to warm up as it went on, wasn't it, Max? And almost as if half-time came at the wrong time. Yeah,
it did. Liverpool were, both teams, Inter have been playing well. Inter probably had the best of the first 20 minutes in terms of possession, territory and sort of charisma and being original on the ball. But Liverpool, as the game went on, Liverpool really got a stranglehold on it. We had 5 minutes of added time and Inter barely had a kick on it, kick on the ball. So Liverpool, half-time came at the wrong time, but Liverpool, as it's 2-0 up, they don't care about that. they know what they're doing, and they were in, I won't say cruise control, but they kind of had the foot on the neck of Inter.
Calhanoglu, ball into box, isn't a bad one. It's Sanchez with the header straight at the goalkeeper. Suspicion of offside. I don't know if the flag would have gone up. Yeah, well, Alisson's put it straight down. Having a look, and Sanchez is one of 3 offside. Dumfries was almost playing a blocking role there. Andy Robertson's received a yellow card in amongst all of that. As Alexander Arnold has got an outside run in Thiago. He goes for goal himself. It's deflected off the foot of Brozovic and floats more than fizzes into the hand of Handanovic. But this game has got a lovely open feeling to it so far. Alexis Sanchez has now got a yellow card. Was that retrospective maybe from ahead of the break? I'm not quite sure.
He's been holding on to that, the referee, for a long time. You see, maybe the referee will never come out and say it, but you've got away with one there, and then the next foul you get, even no matter how small it is, you're getting a yellow. But it's a long grudge to hold in referees. The ball comes in deflected straight into Alisson.
In my younger days, playing as about 17, when I was first started playing Sunday League, there was a player I played with who he was booked every week, and he was moaning at the referee as we're walking onto the pitch, and the referee said, "Okay, Tony, should we just get this over with?" and gave me a yellow card. And so, before the game had even started, he said, "Well, you get an extra foul now, don't you?" As Fabinho works it out to Salah down the right hand side, tries to go outside Bastoni, who tries to block him off but doesn't. Salah still going between the legs of Brozovic. That was a nothing challenge really by Bastoni, who seemed to keep between himself and Perisic. Seemed to keep Salah quiet in the first half, but for a he's an elegant centre half rather than an aggressive one, isn't he? Bastoni, he didn't really offer anything against the Egyptian.
No, he's shown no interest in the ball there, and as you say, he's more of an elegant sort of footballer, and that physique is quite elegant as well. He just didn't have enough to shove a full flight Salah, he was getting up to full speed with Salah and just shrugged him off with ease. Saw a stat today that's Premier League that sort of saying like players with the amount of touches per foul, and it had like Zaha, he was at 12 touches per foul. Mohamed Salah's at 61 touches per foul. So it takes a lot to bring him down, and once he gets going, he's good on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah, he can play, that boy, can't he?
There's something about him.
Alexander-Arnold, Salah, and we keep going back to it. Like, if there was if there was a world without Robert Lewandowski, Salah would probably be the best player in it at the moment. But and then almost to emphasise the point, Lewandowski's got a hat-trick so far this evening for Bayern Munich as Liverpool go into the box. Mane controls it.
Struggling there.
He is, isn't he? As Robertson puts a poor ball in, Perisic will have to deal with it. So they've already made one change at the back. I imagine Andrea Ranocchia would be the next one on for Inter. Spent a half season at Hull, didn't he, once upon a time? Ranocchia. Alexander-Arnold's ball, not a bad one. Skriniar's wins it, but under a bit of pressure, he wins it again. Does the big Slovakian defender. Salah brings it down, but doesn't really control it. And Sanchez then up against Matip. There's only one winner there. Gives him a shove for good measure, and a thumbs up for his good defending. And a throw to Liverpool, but just looking at the Inter defender, he's clutching that right knee. He's moving side to side rather than forwards and backwards.
Yeah, he went down to block a Salah cross, and I think he jolted his knee into the ground, and that might have done. And he came away holding his lower back, so I think he's jolted a lot of his body. So maybe just an impact thing, and he's limping less now, but he is stood still, so we can't really tell.
Yes, as Jones takes over, Robertson will go down the line to Mane under pressure from D'Ambrosio. Does well, and Mane has to backheel it to keep it in, and D'Ambrosio will fizz it away, only onto the chest of Van Dijk. Then turn and spin by Fabinho's nice looking for Jota. The ball falls to Salah. Off the upright. Second time Liverpool have hit the woodwork this evening. Salah, he should have scored.
Yeah, to be fair to Inter, they did well, but Handanovic came flying out. He was flat on the deck on his chest. He was ineffective, but he had the whole goal to aim at. But Inter did get two players back on the line to make it difficult. But you're thinking two good players shouldn't be enough for Salah to nestle it into the net. We're yet to see replays. Inter come forward, and as I say that, they lose an attack. So be able to see what if did he scuff it. But he had plenty of time, no pressure on him, just had to find the corner.
Yeah, Bayern now 5 to the good. Thomas Muller has got their fifth goal. So they're 5-0 up, 6-1 on aggregate against Salzburg. And that was the best we've seen from Salah so far. This is good by Jones. He comes forward, carries a good 30 yards, finds the Egyptian, who almost went down on Dumfries' challenge. But Dumfries just about did enough not to foul him. But Salah now has another opportunity. Goes in between Brozovic and Bastoni. Brozovic does well. Then Jota comes fighting for it. Shot maybe from Jones. No, out to Jota. Fires it back to Salah. I don't think the ball was through. I think it was for Thiago. But the Egyptian takes over and still has it. Vidal just heads in between the two Liverpool players, Salah and Alexander-Arnold. It breaks down. Well played by the Chilean. Getting back there. Alisson gets his first real touches of the second half, just rolls it to Matip. We mentioned the word elegant for Bastoni. He is the personification of elegant, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just I don't know how you explain him. He's just like cream, isn't he? Just way he moves, and it's slow and it's steady and it's perfect. And you're thinking, oh, I like that a lot. As Liverpool, Curtis Jones, he tried to. If you think about his first goal when he first made impact against Everton in that FA Cup game, he was on his right foot, leaning back, and he curled it into that far corner. Obviously playing on the left, this time playing on the right, he's trying to curl it with his left foot, and he had a go, and he didn't sort of work out for him, and he tried again, and he decided better of it. So Jones has have to adapt his game playing on a different side, which I can't really remember him playing that much on the right side of midfield. So it's a whole new experience for him. But he's playing well. Other than that, as Salah is a wayward ball.
Yeah, he's always plays well. I think Curtis Jones. See Thiago, nice ball, wasn't it? And Handanovic, Superman jumped towards it. It came to Salah. he sets himself well. It's coming across him on the left foot, maybe just catches it off his heel rather than the meat of his instep.
Yeah.
Right on the Bastoni and Skriniar do a good job of getting back, but you can see he's trying to angle it in, but that might be one where a bit less finesse would have been necessary.
I suppose, yeah, but see, Kevin De Bruyne again in the Manchester derby sort of had a similar situation, and he went finesse and it paid off rather than just putting his laces through it. So maybe you can see it definitely works. Just choosing a nicer route is in to come forward, and we've had 10 minutes and they're still yet to put a shot on at Alisson's goal in this second half.
Handanovic threatened to do it, but he just took too long there. Calhanoglu, and well, Skriniar didn't look so bad there. He was moving back, out sprinting Salah to give it back to goalkeeper Handanovic. Bastoni takes over, still goalless. Almost into the 56th minute of this game. Independent Off Tube Studio commentary. 2-0 Liverpool lead on aggregate. So the longer the seconds tick by, the longer it becomes now or never really for Inter. Looking at the bench, of course, Edin Dzeko is the obvious one they could bring on. I think they may have to sacrifice a central midfielder at some point. Vidal, Brozovic and Calhanoglu all offer something different, but none of them really goals, as Robertson, he finds Mane. Into Robertson again, Fabinho. He's not a very elegant player, isn't it? This just got a really good team on it, Liverpool. Let's break it down as Alisson goes back to Van Dijk. Robertson, he's got Fabinho inside him. Van Dijk, the skipper, with Henderson on the bench this evening. One of those 4 changes. Jones came in for Henderson. He gives it back to Van Dijk and rolls it back to Alisson. A reminder of more action on this service tomorrow. Manchester City against Sporting Lisbon and Paris Saint-Germain against Real Madrid. Europa League games to Betis Frankfurt. And we've actually got an EFL Trophy match too. Hartlepool United against Rotherham United. Ambrosio works his way back to Handanovic. Handanovic just plays it along the line to D'Ambrosio. And then back to Handanovic, a bit of keep ball. We saw them break out from deep a few times into almost like a set move as you'd have in rugby.
It's like ice hockey, wasn't it? The centre half was so deep on effectively the 6-yard line, waiting for everybody to get into position, and then 1-2-3 pass, and they were up on the high on the left-hand side with Perisic, weren't they? But apart from that, yeah, maybe they have these set plays, but they just can't. When they've come forward, they've been more often than not they've been offside. There's the front line of Inter, which is just ill-disciplined, really. Yeah,
and again, it looks like Dumfries is the more attacking the 2 full-backs. So D'Ambrosio has played most of his career as a right wing-back or a right-back. He's almost playing as the right-back, and Dumfries is the furthest forward, whereas it was Perisic on the left-hand side who was pushing on in the first half. Mane into Robertson. He's got Jones just making a little dart in front of him, trying to find a bit of space. Back to Fabinho, though, and Van Dijk now. Thiago opens his body. He's got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Will he go for goal? Maybe. Just dips inside, and the chance went, really. There's a man, I think Calhanoglu, coming across to potentially block off the shot, and then it was onto his left foot, and he never looked as comfortable did Trent Alexander-Arnold. We still wait our first goal. They have hit the woodwork twice at Liverpool. Matip's header and Salah's left-footed effort we've just seen as Vidal opens up the plane. Perisic in control. What a bit of control it is. Finds space down the left-hand side. It's back to Calhanoglu, who takes it first time with the left foot. Had time, maybe didn't get the shout from potentially Dumfries or Brozovic behind him. He could have even let that ball go across his body and taken a touch. He had options there, and I think he didn't realise how much time he had.
He rushed it, didn't he? He stopped his run as soon as he got to the edge of the box, lost his man. And like you say, he was in that gap. The Liverpool midfield weren't tracking back quickly enough. And yeah, just didn't get the shout to the Turkish midfielder. You're right. I was thinking maybe stopping his run is taking all the momentum out, all the power out the shot, because it was rather tame. But here comes Sanchez should have taken it down there, left it for Martinez, shoots from goal, and it just trickles wide. deflection.
Yeah, deflection, but I think Inter came forward. It was a really good attack, but by the same token, that looks like Matteo Darmian's coming on. I thought Sanchez could have taken it on. I thought Brozovic could have taken it on himself, and then he just takes one, maybe two touches too many there. Martinez tries to feed it in with the try and trick Alisson with the eyes, doesn't he? And Inter just maybe have found something. That Perisic control for the Calhanoglu try, that was incredible, wasn't it? As Calhanoglu now prepares to take the corner kick, and in swing a low one, doesn't beat the first man, which is Robertson, and Jones will get it away only as far as Vidal, and Inter will have another chance. Inzaghi's off the dugout, almost onto the pitch. He thinks his side are on the ascendancy, but no, it's Liverpool on the ascendancy now as Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's ball through, is blocked by Vidal, and it's really spread out this game. Surely Vidal fouled Fabinho on the floor. No, Brozovic now brings it away. The Croatian midfielder has got Perisic to his left hand side, his international teammate Sanchez inside, perhaps the wrong ball, but Sanchez has a chance to retain possession. Now D'Ambrosio's got forward. First touch wasn't the best, goes for goal, weaker left foot, leaning back as he struck it way over the crossbar.
Yeah, it's the problem when a defender gets to be the furthest man forward, they rush of blood and they don't know what to do. Times his run really well, stays on side. He can't find a pass to Martinez, can he? Martinez just tries to make a cute little run to get beyond him on the right, doesn't see it, just sees the eye for goal, and yeah, it's a perfect drop goal finish for the Six Nations, that would be.
Yeah, that's back this weekend, is it? Friday. Wales against France, then England, Ireland, and Scotland, Italy. As Martinez goes for goal. Oh, what a goal! What a goal that is by the Argentine. And for once, he took it first time, Max, and he found the top corner.
I think that's the first shot he's really had on goal tonight. And Alisson shrugs and he doesn't know what to do. He looks at his defenders and sort of rolls his